Hello everybody, how are you all today? I hope you're all grand and feeling marvellous. So, it's the end of September. It's 5 months now since I had a wage. How's it all going? Pretty good, I'd say, apart from the fact that at the moment I am absolutely shattered. Excuse me, watch me put my feet. Just completely and utterly, I feel flatlined. It's been kind of interesting in the last sort of 2-3 weeks or so. Like I say, I've been really, really tired, and I'm kind of thinking it's partly where we are in the year. Is it to do with being off work? How can giving up work end up with me being so utterly exhausted at the moment? But the fact of the matter is, I'm not getting any time off. I'm having absolutely zero rest. So of course I'm tired. Hang on a minute, how can I be having no rest? I'm not going to work anymore. So there's a couple of things. I still have ongoing care, shall we say, with my great aunt. So I'm still doing a couple of days a week with her, and when I do a day with her, with the travel as well, it's 12 hours. So the travel alone kind of poops me. And what I'm finding is the day after I'm less productive because I'm just a bit wiped out. So on all the other days, then the time is more pressured, and I'm in the garden for 4 or 5 hours. I come home, I'm podding, bottling, whatever it is for another 4 or 5 hours. I finish what I'm doing at 9 at night, have a bath, flop into bed, and get ready to do it all again the next day. And I'll be honest, there've been a couple of times this month where I've thought, do you know what? It'd be easier to be at work. I mean, I can't, because physically I just wasn't up to the job anymore because of the knees. Actually, undoubtedly, the issue with my knees is also causing some of the tiredness, because everything takes me a bit longer just because of awkwardness. And I think just a few sort of not great nights of sleep because pain waking me up. So it starts to then be a bit of a never-ending circle of not sleeping great, pushing myself in the day to get things done. And I think that's the truth of it with trying to manage on one's own and grow all of one's own food. I've been really, really diligent this year about making sure I have time in the garden, and making sure I'm looking after it, but making sure that I get every last bit of harvest out of that soil. When all the beans, there were 2 occasions when my beans were felled completely by the wind. And in truth, I think in previous years I might have just gone, never mind, I haven't got time, leave it, just put it in the compost. But of course this year it's been a case of, no, that's my precious food, I have to deal with it. So hours and hours spent podding green beans and getting them blanched and frozen, where normally I'd just let them dry and they'd be much easier to handle. Look, September, I think, naturally is just one of those really busy months in the garden anyway, because I try not to garden to have gluts. I try to pace it throughout the year so that I've always got something fresh. But inevitably in September, I'm dealing with the last of the tomatoes. Well, so many other things. I can't even think straight at the moment. I'm so pooped. So I found that, in truth, I found it really tough this month. It's just not having a day off, not having a day of being able to say, no responsibilities, just leave it. I'm desperate for a holiday. I was thinking about this as well, that that little jaunt I had to France at the end of June, that's 3 months ago. Where have those 3 months gone? Literally since coming back from that holiday, it's been non-stop. And that's the thing I mean about it would be easier to be at work, because if I was working for someone else now, if I was an employee, by now I would have accrued another week of annual leave. So I'd be like, oh yay, have a week off. I think that's something to really think about if you are planning on packing up work and trying to do things on your own, and it's something I need to learn, but it's that you have to be strict about your time, really, really strict. You have to, I think, say one day of the week is a day off. No gardening, no veg growing, no time in the kitchen processing everything. Just have a day off, whether it's reading a newspaper. There's the phone. 1 minute. And we're back. You see, that's the other thing about not being at work. Everyone just makes the assumption that, every single day is a free day and you can drop everything and run to someone else. So annoying. I've just said no to something. Good girl. What was I saying? Yeah, so that thing about having time off. I think what's happening at the moment is the couple of days I'm doing with my great aunt each week, they ought to be my days off. As time goes on, I'm putting more and more in place for her. I've got carers going in each day at the moment anyway, but there are so many other needs. But as time's going on, I'm putting more things in place so that hopefully we can get to the stage where I only need to visit once a week, maybe even once every 10 days or so. That would be ideal. Also, until now, even when I'm not with her, I've just been spending so much time at home on the computer, doing emails, phone calls for her, just trying to get all her affairs sorted that have been neglected for so long. So there have been sort of the visits with her twice a week, plus time 1 day a week where I'm just doing all sorts on the phone for her. That's gradually, now things are falling into place. So hopefully what I'll be able to do is be really strict with myself and say, yes, this is a day off, no gardening, no nothing. So just bear in mind, make your time precious. Don't let people use you, basically, just because you're not working. Because actually growing all your own food is pretty much a full-time job. I think I'm doing more hours now than I ever did when I was a nurse. But it's all good. So in terms of positives, let's see now. Money, it's great. I'm just not spending money on food, which is wonderful. So I give myself my £10 a week allowance. I'm just not using it, which is great because I need a new pair of pumps. My pumps have died a death. Now I could go to one of these local trainer superstores and get a pair for, 25-30 quid. But I don't really like buying that kind of stuff. I'd rather go to my favourite shop online, the ethical superstore, and buy a pair of pumps which I know have been made with good materials, the people who've made them have been paid a decent price, etc., etc. But that does make them sort of double the price. And it is something that I'm having to really balance this year between, I don't want to be spending money, but on the other hand, I don't want to be buying, when I do need to buy something, I don't want to buy some cheap nonsense that is ecologically, it's not sound. The person who's made it hasn't been paid a decent wage. All those considerations. And I don't want to compromise my own ethics, my own shopping ethics this year. So not spending on the food, I can put that tenner away each week, or the 6 or 7 quid that I'm not spending. If I spend 2 or 3 quid, put that money aside, and over the course of the next couple of months, that'll form a nice little wedge so I can go and buy some new pumps without compromising my shopping ethics. Yay! So that's all fab. And the other thing, excuse me, that tea got finished. In terms of, like I said, I really feel utterly pooped. But things with my great aunt, every day they get a bit more settled, that's good. The garden really now will slow down a lot. Hallelujah. So all the winter stuff is in. There's really not much for me to do now apart from be going down there just to pick things fresh as and when I need them. Most of the storing has been done, so the podding, the storing, that sort of thing. The last big thing will be the chickpeas, which take forever. I know that. I'll just do them in the evening when I'm listening to music or what have you. But because all of that is slowing down and of course less daylight hours, I'm actually, for the first time ever, really looking forward to winter, because what I'm hoping is that as we get into these darker evenings, it'll free up time at last so I can start doing some sewing. I've done little bits here and there, but not nearly as much as I planned to do or thought I would do. But I think that will change over the winter. Actually, this has been a really weird month, and I think it's partly driven by my tiredness and driven by the change of season. But there have been a couple of really down moments this month when I've thought, this is just not working out like I thought it would or like I wanted it to. Obviously, there was a big spanner in the works in terms of my great aunt's needs vastly increasing. There have been a couple of times when I've thought, it's just not worth it. I just, in truth, a couple of times where I thought, I'm not happy. I'm just not happy. All I'm doing is slogging and it's no fun at all. But I think that's normal. I think that's natural. I think I would probably have those thoughts even a year, 2, 5, 10 years ago. Just, they're normal thoughts at this time of year as the summer's fading, as we face the winter. And what I have to remind myself, what I am reminding myself is, right now, where I'm at, this is just a phase. It's, I'm moving out of it. I'm moving into a new one. Things will pick up. Things will be better. I will get some more time to myself. And generally speaking, I have to reflect on the real positives of these last 5 months. I was pretty sure I would be able to manage, but you can never be 100% sure. And now after just these first 5 months, I'm thinking, do you know what? I've got this. I can blimmin' well do it. Yeah! So rather than dwelling on, I'm trying to focus on sort of quietly saying to myself, do you know what, Vivi? Well done. You're providing all your own food, pretty much. You're not spending any money. They were the 2 primary things you wanted to achieve this year. No spending and feeding yourself. And I'm doing it. I'm actually doing it. So all the other stuff, I think that in time will come. I'm going to take a little bit of pressure off myself of thinking I should be doing this and I should be doing that and I should be doing the other. And I'm just going to have a little moment of being quietly proud. Pride's a weird thing, isn't it? Pride comes before a fall, it's a sin and all that. But I am going to take a little moment to be proud and say, I'm not spending money, I'm feeding myself, I'm looking after my great aunt. I think that's a big tick at this stage in the year. I suddenly feel really energised and optimistic again. You see what happens when you focus on the positive stuff? Gives you energy. Yay! So going forward, like I say, heading into winter, the garden is going to be much more quiet. I'm going to start eating all that gorgeous stored food. My aunt is getting more sorted. I will have time for sewing, or even if I don't have time for sewing, I'm going to have time to just sit and do absolutely nothing, which would be marvellous. Yeah, bring it on. Here's to the next 5 months. And I've got to say as well, a big thank you to all of you who keep tuning in, just sharing your lovely comments, your lovely experiences. What's been an absolute blast for me is sometimes someone will make a comment and then someone else will see it and sort of engage in that conversation as well. So I feel like you're all talking to each other as well as me, and it's been really, really so fulfilling to experience that with you all. So thank you so much for watching, subscribing, all of that stuff. We're heading towards winter. I'm kind of excited. I don't know why, but I am. But for now, I need to get back to the garden and do a bit more harvesting. Roll on the end of the harvest. So it's been really good to catch up with you guys. I hope you're all well and are staying well. For now, I'm going to say cheerio. Happy downtime to you all. Happy days off. Get your day off planned. I will see you all again really soon, I hope. But in the meantime, take care.